Welcome back to the Fourth Liners podcast. We have a pretty interesting episode today. Before we start, we wanted to say thank you to everybody commenting and liking the video on YouTube. That means a lot. We love to see comments. You've got some names there, Jake.
Yeah, it feels really good to see some support. You know, we try our best on this podcast. We're just having fun talking hockey, but seeing your guys' support wants us to inspires us to do more. We got a few comments, very supportive comments. Nathan G Man commented, "This deserves more views and likes." We strongly agree with that. We'd like a lot of more views and likes.
Son. Damn straight.
We'll try our best. We'll try to grow our audience. And then we have another one from Mythic Brady, which he has his own highlight clip YouTube channel, which is pretty decent. You know, I watched a few videos. Why don't you go subscribe to him, Mythic Brady? He said he's a noob sub to us and he loves it. So why not noob sub to him and love him too?
The fact that Sportsnet hasn't picked us up yet just shows how...
Man, I'm shocked. Which is better?
How out of touch they are.
Which is better, TSN or Sportsnet?
I mean, I used to really like TSN. Like, I really liked the panel, like, with James Duthie and Bob McKenzie and stuff like that. But honestly, like, with the way Bell's been, like, laying people off, I gotta say I'm more of a Sportsnet guy now. Yeah,
they laid off... was it Dan O'Toole recently? A big name for TSN, but I'm more of a TSN guy, I gotta say. Like, I agree with the layoffs from Bell, but I just like the panel better. Bob McKenzie, James Duthie, Darren Dreger. I'm just a fan of TSN, and even the look of them.
Maybe a little bit of less bias there, probably.
Yeah, a little bit less bias, but you know.
I miss the score. Bring back the score.
The score, you know, that's where Sid 660. Yeah, that's where he started. So.
The score. Do they even still have a channel?
I really couldn't tell you.
I'm a huge nerd, so I watch their esports stuff on YouTube all the time.
Oh, okay.
Like they have like the Score esports where they cover stories and stuff from the world of esports, and it's really good. Like, it's really good. So if you're into esports, definitely check that out. But
I get into esports then.
Well, with your new PC, you should.
Yeah, the new PC is up and running. Man, the RGB legs look great. I can see inside of the PC. I have to tell you, I don't know what everything is inside of the PC, but I've been told I have a good graphics card. So
it's all right.
It's all right, you know.
It was good for the current market and price. It's exactly. 2060, right?
Yeah.
It's
whatever. Yeah, whatever you say. I don't know what that means. I'll learn eventually. I'm a newbie to the PC family, you know, but I'm getting a
2060 is
new
just
setup.
It's from the 20 series, and it's two below the best one.
Oh, see, the more you know. I'm learning.
The more you know. I have a 2070, so like I have a better graphics card than you. So like, what do you like?
Well, I'll just come steal yours, you know. I was just about to say where you live.
I don't think you'd know how to take it out.
No, probably not. You know, I have a screwdriver and a wrench, but I don't know if that'd do it. So
you do not need either of those things to take out a graphics card.
I'll just smash your PCs.
Oh yeah, you got an Allen key too, I bet, to get into the case.
Yeah, I got a lot of Allen keys from IKEA.
Yeah, make sure you bring a hammer to get into the case. You know. Oh my god, it's a wrench. Yeah, it's not a car.
I'll get it open one way or another.
Oh my god, I'm never gonna let you live that down.
You know what?
Get my graphics card out with a wrench and a screwdriver.
I can just imagine the comments right now. All the PC fans just
cringing.
I'm learning, right. Ladies and gentlemen. I'm learning.
Yeah, you don't need any tools to get any components out of a PC besides some screws that attach the motherboard to the the case. So now you know.
I'll keep that in mind when I'm getting your graphics card.
I'm telling you right now, you're not going to be able to figure it out.
All right. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. You might be able to pull out my RAM sticks.
You know what? I don't even know what that is, so I wouldn't even know where to look for that.
Oh man,
Bryce, we're gonna have a lesson after this podcast.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna need you to turn on your webcam after the podcast, and you're gonna point at things, and I'm gonna tell you what they are.
Webcam, eh?
Do you not have one?
Actually, no. I've been looking at them, but they're a little pricey.
Bro, okay, so I have a Logitech C920, which is like one of the better webcams. There's like a couple newer versions now, but it like when I bought it, it was like a top of the line webcam.
Okay.
So since COVID, because everybody now is doing Zoom meetings, for some reason, all these people thought that they needed some HD webcam for their freaking Zoom meetings. It's like, why?
They didn't want
Why? You don't
Snapchat
need
quality.
that. You don't need that. Like, and now the price is like, I bought my webcam for $80.
Now how much is
Now
it?
they're like 200. Like 200. because idiots are like, I need the best webcam, bro, because I drive a Maserati and I'm a businessman. Like, get out of here, bro.
We don't care what you drive.
I don't care.
I drive a
what
Toyota Venza. Best car ever.
Oh, Venza.
Nice. It's a mom car.
Dude, I was pricing out my dream car the other night.
Oh, were you? What is that?
Alfa Romeo Giulia TI Sport.
Jeez.
Look it up. Look it up.
You're going to send me a link to that.
I will.
All right.
Okay, hockey. This is a hockey podcast.
This is a hockey pod. We got way off topic there.
This is a hockey podcast. Okay, so I think the most important issue going around the league right now is Tom Wilson being an absolute criminal, blood-crazy murderer against the New York Rangers. What do you think about that?
What a goof. A goon.
What a goof.
Man, people are outraging after this incident that happened last night. They're playing each other again tonight, so I can imagine what's going to happen during the game. Definitely watching that tonight to see. I can tell you some fights are going to happen. I don't think anything will happen like what Tom Wilson did to Buchnevich and Panarin.
Do you know how the league could have avoided a total shit show that could potentially happen tonight?
Suspended him.
If they suspended him.
Literally, he's been suspended so many times, I don't get why this is an exception not to be suspended.
Bro, like, okay, so if you haven't seen the clip, basically here's the breakdown. Buchnevich is wrestling in front of the net with Wilson, and Buchnevich ends up on the ice. And Wilson thinks it's appropriate to punch him in the side of the face when he's down on the ice. So obviously the Rangers all react to that. They all jump Wilson. Buchnevich gets up. He's fine, okay, thankfully. And then Panarin and Wilson start getting into it, and Wilson slams Panarin down onto the ice and ends his season. What are you doing, man?
See, that when he punched Buchnevich at like the side of the face or whatever, the back of the head, you know what that reminds me of? I know you're a fan of him, Todd Bertuzzi.
Oh no,
Todd Bertuzzi, Bertuzzi Crunch. Is that part of your name? Is that why it's Bertuzzi Crunch?
100%.
But yeah, it reminds me of that, and he ruined that kid's career.
I have a very hot take about that incident.
So do you think it's similar to this one or no?
Not really.
Yeah,
like okay, there were reasons leading up to why Bertuzzi did what he did. I'm not saying it was right, but there was reasons.
I'm sure there was.
Like Buchnevich was just trying to get a loose puck or whatever, and ended up wrestling with Wilson.
Yeah, there was no reason for it.
He's already down. Like, I'm not gonna say like Wilson's actions were not nearly as bad as Bertuzzi's actions. Like, I want to be clear. Like, I'm not saying this is the Bertuzzi Moore incident, like, of 2021. It's not, okay? Like, it's not as bad, but it's still really freaking bad, especially for this era of NHL. Like, to punch a player when he's down on the ice, that's 70s stuff. Like, why are we doing that?
It's like we're in the movie Goon or Slapshot. Like, it's not realistic. And Tom Wilson, the thing is, what he did, he went after two vulnerable players. One, Buchnevich didn't even know what was coming behind him, just Tom Wilson's fist, which probably hurts because he's a big guy, a big, tough guy. And then he takes Panarin to the ground, ending his season, which he had no helmet on. He's vulnerable. You don't touch a guy unless you're in a fight with no helmet on. What if you hit his head the wrong way and killed him? Like, it honestly could have gone to that extreme. And
dude, that happens.
Exactly. And Tom Wilson when he was in the box, jersey off and everything, flexing, puffing his
at the
chest out.
Rangers.
And what is this goof doing? Was he on drugs or something?
Like most guys would like realize what they just did, and they would sit in the box and think, "Oh crap, I'm about to get suspended."
Oh shit,
and
I messed
fined."
up.
Yeah, like, you know,
He had no
Panarin
remorse.
Done for the season, like no remorse.
It,
I don't know, like
it's not fair.
He needed to be suspended.
Yeah, I agree.
For like 5 games. I mean, and then you know, you could talk about George Peros, who is, you know, a former tough guy in the league, went to Princeton for some reason, and now he's the head of player safety. It's like, dude, you've been making bad decisions for years now. Like, what? The Department of Player Safety isn't the skeleton crew it used to be. Like, it's a serious component of the NHL. Like, why are you finding somebody $5,000 who makes $5 million a year, and that's it? And now you're gonna have a potential crapshoot tonight with the Rangers versus the like Washington should sit him. Honestly,
George Peros looks like he's in the 70s still with his mustache and hair.
Yeah, dude, the Rangers have nothing to lose, man. The Rangers aren't making the playoffs. Okay, Washington is. So what if the Rangers are really angry about this, which I'm sure they are, and decide, hey, let's go goon up Ovechkin. Oh, he's not playing, right? Ovechkin's still hurt, right?
I think so. Yeah, Ovechkin's still hurt.
You can't really goon up Ovechkin. He's a tough guy. Let's go goon up Backstrom. Let's go goon up. Oh my God, their goalie's name.
Samsonov or Vanacek.
Vanacek. Let's go goon up Vanacek. You know, like let's hurt one of them back. Like, what if that happens? Like, Washington should sit Wilson themselves.
Yeah, I agree.
It would be a good PR move for them, man.
It would be, and it would be the right thing to do. And with I just don't get how this play doesn't get a suspension. Some fans are outraging, saying, how many chances is this guy gonna get in the NHL before he really kills someone and or really hurts them, ending their career or putting them in a wheelchair, right?
And it sucks because Wilson is actually a really good player.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do this.
No, like, he has the perfect mix of toughness and scoring ability. He doesn't need to do this extra crap. Like, don't be a goon, man. Just be a guy who's super tough, big, and can score, you know, and like can stand up for his teammates, right? Because there's lots of people who think fighting doesn't belong in hockey. It absolutely does. Okay, hockey's such a fluid sport with so much going on. The referees are never going to be able to see anything. Players need to be able to enforce a certain amount of respect. Because if you don't have fighting, you're going to have guys taking all sorts of cheap shots all the time. Matt Cooks are going to be all over the place because there's no consequence, right? So you need to have fighting. So if you go to lay out a rookie who is 40 pounds smaller than you, in the back of your mind, you need to know, like, oh crap, dude, Ryan Reeves is going to kill me if I do this. Like, fighting belongs in the sport, but punching players who are not fighters, by the way, Buchnevich is not a fighter when he's down on the ice against a team who's not making the playoffs. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
I totally agree. And it's just, I agree with you, fighting does belong in hockey. And I think it solves a lot of violence and it prevents a lot of violence in the league. Because you get the frustrations out, you stick up for your teammate, and you answer the fight. It's a good middle ground for something worse happening. And what Tom Wilson did, he wasn't even standing up for his goalie. Like, Buchnevich didn't even poke at him or anything. He was just going for the rebound, and he fell, and Wilson saw the opportunity. He could have resisted. He could have not done that. And like you said, the Rangers aren't making the playoffs, and they're not competing for a spot with Washington. Washington's already clinched a spot. What was the whole purpose of this? It just to show that you're a tough guy? Man, this is a joke. Tom Wilson is a joke, and I just got so frustrated watching this because he really could have injured someone and ruined their career, and that's upsetting for me. And another thing I want to point out, George Peros is from Washington, or he was born in Washington. So was he a Washington fan?
I think that's a really hot take.
That is a hot.
That is. I don't think we could say George Peros didn't suspend Wilson because he's a Washington fan. I just think George Peros might still see the game through the lens of when he played, right? Because he played in what the 2000s, which was a very
he was drafted 1999 by the LA Kings.
Yeah, very gritty, hard-nosed era, right? And so maybe he's still looking at the league through that lens.
Yeah.
But like the modern NHL, man, it's not supposed to be like that. Like
no,
people complain all the time that the league is too soft. Okay, it's not. All right, we don't want people killing each other like they did in the 70s, like they did in the late 90s, like they did in the mid 2000s. Like we don't want that. Okay, we want tough hockey where guys, if two guys decide to throw down and they consent to it together and one of them isn't face down on the ice, I think that should still be able to happen. Okay, I'm not a fan of one-dimensional goons. I don't like players who are only there to fight. I think that's silly. But I think guys like Tom Wilson are a good thing to have because they're tough guys who can score, except when they want to do absolutely insane, crazy stuff like this. How do you lose that much control? Your role, man. You're a point-producing guy, and you're big and you're tough, and to just punch guys who are down on the ice, I think it's insane for no reason too. Like for no reason. I don't know, man. Did you see George Larocque's Instagram post?
Man, I'd love to see George Larocque just knock out Tom Wilson. He wouldn't stand a chance.
That's what he said, dude. He tweeted at the Rangers and actually tagged Wilson in the post. He was like, "Hey Rangers,
Gutsy.
if you want to sign me to a 1-day contract, I'll sort out Tom Wilson for you."
I'm sure he would. I'd be afraid of George Larocque, man. Legend.
George Larocque is, oh my god.
There's an example. There's a great example of a tough guy in the NHL where he was there to fight, right? And
yes,
the NHL does have an enforcer rule, which is teams generally do not carry more than one player whose primary role is the role of an enforcer. So
not anymore.
Not anymore?
No, I'm saying like teams don't.
Oh yeah, not anymore. Yeah, I was just reading that from Google. But it says enforcers can either play forward or defense, although they are most frequently used as wingers. And isn't Tom Wilson a winger? But he's not on the fourth line though.
That's a rule. Well, he's not an enforcer.
Yeah, no, he's not labeled as an enforcer, but he really
there's only I can only think of one legitimate enforcer left in the league, and that's Ryan Reeves.
Yeah. And even he scores sometimes, right? So he
the days of the one-dimensionals are gone, man. Like you can't afford to have
John Scott.
Exactly, the John Scotts, man. The Wade Belaks, the Colton Orrs, like those.
I love Colton Orr.
Right, and like the. Oh, sorry, I swore. I'll beep that out. The Tim Sestitos,
PG-13.
Yeah. We've never talked about this. Are we allowed to swear?
I don't know. I said shit earlier, so I just said it again.
Well,
I mean, we could beep it
maybe
out.
I'll beep out the F word.
All right, yeah. There's a line with the cross, and there's a line Tom Wilson could have crossed, and he crossed it. So,
well, since we're beeping things out, Tom Wilson, you're a idiot.
Yeah, you're a idiot. See, I'll do it for you right there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're
welcome. Thank you for saving me time in the edit.
Exactly. I know it's a long process, so might as well.
Yeah, I know. I would love to see George Larocque step in.
Me too.
And sort that guy out. But we're gonna see what happens tonight, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting.
There's gonna be fights. I don't know if anyone's getting injured. I really hope that doesn't happen. Like Panarin, it's sad. That's their best player. He's also had an incident this season with speaking against Putin and threat against his family. And
careful, don't speak about Putin.
Wait, you have to bleep that out too. Right? You have to bleep that out.
We don't want anything crazy. Who on the Rangers could beat up Tom Wilson? I'm looking right now. Chris Kreider.
Oh yeah, man. People don't like Chris Kreider. He runs into goalies. But I mean,
whatever.
Tom Wilson just did not. That was so uncalled for. He did not need to do that, and he gets fined $5,000, and he's making a lot more than $5,000. And I don't know why the NHL thinks $5,000 is a lot of money. So I do think George Peros, I don't know if he's fit for the role anymore. I think he's too one-minded into that old style of hockey, and that's how he makes decisions, and it's affecting players' safety. And you see a lot of guys that come from after, like, they retired of the NHL, and they're having brain injuries, they're having schizophrenia, they can't sleep because they have headaches every time, like every second of the day. And who wants to live like that? And you want a job, like, say if you're working at any warehouse or anything and you get injured, there's a protection plan. There's something you can go to. The NHL should have the same thing. It's their career. It's their path that they went. They should be safe too, and not worry about goons like Tom Wilson. It's just frustrating to me to see that. Like, and Tom Wilson, like, buddy, you don't have to, man. You had 44 points last year in a shortened season. Like 21 goals. He's had 20 goals each, 13 goals this season, which he's a decent player. He just does not, it's so uncalled for, and the Rangers lost Panarin for the rest of the season for it, and Panarin's just, he doesn't deserve that. Buchnevich, he was furious, and you just don't know what's going to cause more violence the next game.
Bro, the Rangers are wishing they still had Brendan Lemieux. Oh my gosh.
That was a weird trade to LA.
Yeah, bro. So the Rangers got some big guys here. Like, now I'm speculating who's gonna beat up Tom Wilson.
Who do you think?
Yo, Kreider is big boy. Keandre Miller's a big boy, 6'5", 210. Jacob Trouba, 6'3", 209. That could be a good matchup.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
And they have this Julien Gauthier, who's
he's a big boy.
Big guy.
I'm pretty sure he comes from a family of bodybuilders. So,
have the Rangers like announced like their lineup for tonight? Like, has anybody been inserted or called up from the taxi squad?
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, and I'd love to see that. I don't want Tom Wilson to be injured. Like, I kind of do, but I don't want to see the same thing happen to someone else. But, like, come on.
No, I never want to see anybody get injured.
No,
unless
you don't.
It's like. Unless it's like a Matt Cook or something. Or
Matt Cook. That's a goon.
Steve Moore.
Yeah.
Steve Moore. That's a guy who
Yeah, I know. He ruined his career.
Hot take, low-key, kind of had it coming. Well, ruined what career, man? The guy was a career AHLer. It's so stupid. I know that's a hot take.
It's a debate for another day.
It is, honestly.
Sensitive topic.
Yeah, well, I just read Brian Burke's book, okay? I'm on Brian Burke's side here.
There's a beauty. Brian Berkey.
He was GM of the Canucks at the time.
Oh, what? Oh,
and he was saying, yeah, he didn't want Bertuzzi to do that, but they all hated Steve Moore.
Well, yeah. I don't know if it changes the fact if everyone hates him. If it's a tough guy, like, do you feel as bad if he gets injured? Probably not.
Steve Moore wasn't even a tough guy, man. He was just a rat. Anyways, enough of Tom Stupid Wilson. Let's talk about a team that entirely turned around its season. Yeah, you're mad, I know. Let's talk about a team that entirely turned around its season. I had completely written them off at the beginning of the year. I was like, oh, they're bad. Dumpster fire. Nashville Predators. Right now, they're sitting fourth in the Central Division. And they have a decent lead against Dallas, right? What's Dallas at?
56 points. And Predators are at 60. So,
okay.
Few games on them, yeah.
How many games in hand?
53 games played for Nashville and 52 for Stars. So, I mean...
Cool. That's close.
It's very close. If the Stars decide to go on a winning streak, they could easily catch up to them. But the Predators, they've recently been amazing. And now their players are point per game, which is surprising. But I think because they turned around their game. And at the trade deadline, you heard of Ekholm's going, Granlund's going. But then they started to do better and better. And then they decided they didn't want to let go of those guys.
Didn't let any of them go, yeah. So, I think a big factor in them turning around their season has been Yossi Saros with a .928 save percentage and a record of 20-10-0.
Man, it's not Pekka Rinne anymore. It's Yossi Saros for that team.
Yeah, the reign of Pekka Rinne is over, man. Fantastic career. Like, honestly, I think a top 10 goalie of his generation, maybe top 5, I'd say. Pekka Rinne was phenomenal, but it's time for Juuse Saros now. And I know that there were concerns with Saros not being able to make the step, right, to becoming a solidified number 1, but he's proven it this year.
No, yeah, I agree. I picked him up in fantasy, actually, and he got, I swear he won every game for me. He was amazing. Like, he went from like 50% owned to 82% owned, and he was on the rise, and it's really come to show in the standings. And I mean, maybe having Pekka Rinne, a fellow fantastic Finn with him beside, like an older guy to show him how to play. And funny
Definitely
story,
the perfect partner for him.
Perfect. It's like another dad, right? That he can have there. You need that. You need the dad on the team. You need Marlowe, Thornton, a bunch of those guys. Chara, they're dads, and every NHL team needs a dad. And that's what Pekka Rinne was for Juuse Saros. And funny story about Pekka Rinne. I mean, yeah, I guess Pekka Rinne, he also said that he doesn't want to go to a team that can win the Stanley Cup. He wants to retire as a Predator, where he spent his whole career. And, you know, I give credit for him. And that takes a lot to actually just stay with a team. And you could tell how much he loves it there in Nashville. But a funny story about Pekka Rinne, when they went to go scout for goalies or the Finnish league, Pekka Rinne was just there. He just warmed up, and they liked how he looked in the warm up, and then they kept scouting him, and then they picked him in the 8th round.
Oh, wow.
Yep, 8th round, like last. He was the last pick, and look how his career turned out. And I think Juuse Saros has really taken over that role. And I think Pekka Rinne, it's not like it wasn't a battle between them. I think Pekka Rinne knew he was getting older, and they have a chance to go on a run in the playoffs now because of how they turned around the season.
Pekka Rinne fought off his age for so long. I mean, even up to last season, he was still good. You know, like as an aging goalie, right? People thought he would have been done years ago, right? And he continued to push on. Like, what an amazing career from Rinne.
He won the Vezina not too long ago, a few years ago or a year ago. I don't remember when it was, but yeah, like he still can contribute to the team, and he's not a bad goaltender. He's 38, which is born in 1982, which seems forever ago. But yeah, he's been a top goaltender in the league for years. And
here's a fun fact.
I love fun facts.
Their third goalie, Casimir Kaskasuo.
Yep.
He vlogs on YouTube.
I actually
vlogger.
I subscribe to him.
Oh yeah,
I love him. I love that guy. Man, you don't see that in the NHL. Really, you don't see that.
No personalities allowed.
No, but he does it. He shows behind the scenes of like the bubble, because he played for Toronto last year, and he showed.
Dude, I was watching him going to practice, and he opened up this fridge, and just the team had made him a massive pre-made meal, and he's like a vegan too, so they like cater to that.
Jeez,
it's like. Yeah,
luxury.
it's crazy.
Luxury. He shows the luxury of being in the NHL, and he's a third goalie. He's not a Pekka Rinne. He's a third goalie.
He's on the taxi squad.
So,
yeah.
I mean, then that we can look.
I think Nashville's a cool team, though.
Yeah, we can look at their goaltenders, like even their prospects. What's their name of their young goaltender?
Askarov.
He is supposed to be insanely good, and they're set for their goaltenders. Saros, he's still pretty young.
26. So
yeah, so they're gonna have to make a decision.
I mean, what are they gonna do here? I mean, you could make some some decent returns here with trading one of Saros or Askarov.
Right, and you think of the teams that need a goaltender in the league, a young goaltender. Yeah. And I don't know, but maybe it'll come to it. They want to keep Saros and get rid of Askarov. And for both goaltenders, you get a lot for them, honestly.
Definitely, man. Like that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and if they can save cap too with the goaltender, why not? You don't need an $11 million goaltender like Sergei Bobrovsky, right? Or Vasilevsky's pretty insane, but. You don't need that goaltender. Like, they have decisions there, and their recent turnarounds. I'm a fan of Nashville for the playoffs.
It'll be fun to watch them, man. Eeli Tolvanen. A lot of people were starting to doubt him. He's had a decent year. 22 points, 11 goals.
Yeah, like for the longest time, like he they waited for him to play on the team, and people are saying it's long awaited, and then now they're saying he's not as great, but yeah, he just came to the league, so I think he's going to be an amazing player, and I think they have a fan of the Nashville Predators are a fan of the Finnish players.
Oh, definitely. Look at their roster, right?
Yeah.
Their top scorer this year is Roman Yossi with 33 points at -11. I drafted him in fantasy hockey, and it was a rough start to the year for him.
Yeah.
But Roman Yossi continues to be one of the best defensemen in the league, no doubt in my mind. The closest guy they have to a point per game is Phillip Forsberg, 31 points in 36 games. He's been hurt. He's actually playing tonight. I picked him up in fantasy.
Hope we get that win.
Yeah, and then you have like just a lot of like Victor Arvidsson, definitely a down year. Like Arvidsson is supposed to be a 30-goal scorer. He's only got 10 goals this season.
Yeah.
I mean, that probably contributed to their early struggles. But you have like really good depth guys on this team, like with Cal Yarncroc and Mikael Granlund. I mean, they play their position well, and they contribute.
Yeah, I mean they've had some. I guess they're players that they wanted to contribute didn't contribute on early in the season, but now they're starting to pick it up. One player that is kind of disappointing to me is Matt Duchene.
I forgot he was on this team.
Right, he's on the third line, and this is a guy that's supposed to be a first line center in the league. He's being paid $8 million.
The problem is they have two of those guys because they also have Ryan
Johansen, and none of them has lived up to their potential. You see Seth Jones and Ryan Johansen. Who would you rather take?
Seth Jones or Ryan? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
how much is Ryan Johansen?
I think $8 million as well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Bro.
$8 million.
Ooh.
$8 million for Ryan Johansen. I mean, he used to be insane. He used to be a good player. Used to be. I think he's
Duchene and Johansson both making $8 million, $16 million, tied up in 31 points.
Oh, that's rough. And imagine the players that you could get with that. It's just insane. And I don't get. I think maybe that was the only people that were available for them to get at the time, and the demand for centers, they wanted $8 million, so they had to pay them. But at the time, it was a good move for them. But
at the time, it made sense because Ryan Johansen was a top end guy, Matt Duchene's a top end guy, and you think they're gonna come here and they're gonna, fit in really nicely with Arvidsson and oh my gosh, his name, Phillip Forsberg.
Yeah, I mean,
but disappointing.
It is disappointing, but I think they're starting to turn it around, and sometimes that happens for a team, right, where they just struggle, but then when it comes to it,
does Seattle take one of those guys?
Oh yeah, I see them taking Ryan Johansen. I
over Duchene.
I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't know if Duchene's having a worse season than Johansen, but I like Duchene better than Johansen. I just think Johansen's a little overrated because he's being paid so much, and so is Duchene, but he's had better success. And I know Duchene can be a decent player.
They're signed for a long time, dude. Duchene's signed until 2026. Johansson signed until 2025. I mean, I don't even know if Seattle would want that.
That's the question, right? I mean,
if
they got rid of one of those players, then their team wouldn't be as good, and that's kind of sad at saying that those are two of their best players. And Forsberg
supposed to be. I mean, Phillip Forsberg's nuts.
Oh, he's insane.
Absolutely a huge player.
Huge deal from Washington.
Yeah, well, they traded him. They got him for Martin Erat.
Who?
I mean, Erat was good.
No,
Erat
he was
good
at the time.
Not when he was at the end of his career, man. And why did Washington give up on Forsberg?
I don't know, and then you can argue Washington has a cup, but Nashville doesn't.
I don't know, man. I think I don't know how Nashville gets rid of either one of those they almost have to invest in them to try and make them better players.
Yeah, they could. If Seattle took them, they could maybe make a trade with them, and we'll give you this guy if you take him. And take some cap off of our belt because I can imagine they don't want those guys for that long. And
what if they offer up Askarov to take those contracts?
Ooh, yeah, because they have Soros. I mean, possibility.
I don't know.
Their defense core is actually insane. I have to say, like, when did Eric Branson get on Nashville? I swear, Eric Branson's.
Oh yeah,
he's been on
Ottawa
every
traded
single
him at the
team.
deadline.
He's been on
Yeah.
every single team in the NHL. He's a 6th overall pick, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they have Connor Ingram too.
Yeah, he's actually not bad. Connor Ingram.
Who's their good? Who are their prospects? I don't even know.
I mean, I think Tolvanen was considered a prospect there.
Well, yeah,
Fabro's young guy.
One of the biggest.
This would be a good defenseman there. It's a little bit of an older team that's on the NHL, but I don't think they have much. It's pretty sure they have a forward
in the pipeline.
Yeah, not a lot in the pipeline, but they will in a few years. But they're a team that should be able to go for the cup. And that 1 year against Pittsburgh, it was kind of tough to see who would win. Like Pittsburgh's my American favorite team, and then I have Toronto as my Canadian favorite team.
I didn't know you were a Toronto fan.
Yeah, did you know? Are you a Canucks fan?
No, I'm a Calgary Flames fan.
Ooh.
Spicy.
I can't
stand Calgary. No,
were you about to throw up when you said that?
I gotta retract that. I'm a Canucks fan.
All
Dude, Nashville's window, long gone. A few years ago, absolutely a cup contending team. Now, no way.
No. Yeah, they were one of the best teams in the league, I'd have to say. Like,
maybe if Johansen and Duchene were playing their potential. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if they were still top players in the league, because Johansen was like, when he was on Columbus, he was a high rated prospect. He was supposed to be their savior. That he got traded for Seth Jones.
He only really scored in his first 2 seasons, I think.
Yeah, no,
and then after that, the goal scoring. Hold on, do they have all of his? Here we go.
It's a big guy.
Okay. So he played his first 2 years and he had mediocre points, right? Because he's young.
Yeah.
And then in 13-14, he had 33 goals, 30 assists.
Breaking
and then
out.
14-15, 26 goals, 45 assists, 71 points. 2 really good seasons, right? And that's what put him on the map. And then after that, bro, 2015, he had 6 goals with Columbus, and then he was traded to Nashville, and then he had 8 goals. The assists were still there.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was still valuable. But then 14 goals, 15 goals, 14 goals, 14 goals. And the points have been declining. And now he's down to 20 in 45 games. There's nothing there.
It's like he has 2 good seasons and then he drops, 2 good seasons, then he drops. And that's what kind of got him traded from Columbus. And I can see that happening again with Nashville. But with that contract, it's going to be very hard. And is that worth $8 million to have on your team?
I mean, even when he was playing his best point season for Nashville was 18-19, where he had 64 points, 50 assists, 14 goals. That's when Nashville was really freaking good.
Yeah, that's when they were thriving.
Yeah, and then they signed him. I think they signed him to that contract there, right? Because there's no way they're signing him to $8 million after a 36-point season.
No,
that was the year after. As soon as he signs a contract, he's done. He's like, okay, I made my money. I don't have to try.
Exactly.
I don't know.
And that's a problem. I find. I don't know if it's true if NHL players do that, where they get paid a lot of money and they don't try as much because they know they're getting their paycheck still. I bet that happens. And
why would you want that stress? Why would you want the stress of knowing you're underperforming and getting paid a crap load of money? That would stress me out so bad.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure. Yeah.
I'd feel like I'm stealing.
That's a lot of pressure. But I mean, I can imagine some guys are doing it. But yeah, it's just the players that Matt Duchene and Ryan Johansen were supposed to be, they are not today. Johansen being a 4th overall.
I don't know how they get rid of those contracts. No. I don't know how they get rid of those contracts.
They'd have to retain cap.
For 6 years? Oh my gosh. That's not good.
Yeah, I mean, that hurt them. I mean, I don't know if you try to keep the players and hope they have success later on, but they're only getting older, and they're not getting younger.
Oh yeah, Yossi's not a prospect anymore. Yossi.
Yeah, Yossi's he's a Norris winning defenseman. That's what Yossi is.
One of the best defensemen in the league, man.
He is.
He's 30, man. We got 3 more years of peak Yossi, if that.
Yeah, for sure. And
their window's closed. I'm happy for them that they made the playoffs this year, but it almost would have been better if they tanked, I think.
Watch you just jinx it there and Dallas jumps up.
Well,
I wouldn't be too sad. Like
Dallas is the flukiest team. The flukiest team.
How did they make the Stanley Cup Finals?
They had no business being in the Cup Finals, man.
Hudobin, legend. Hudobin.
No business. All right, like Dallas, like you got to think that whole Jamie Benn thing's doesn't have that much, doesn't have that much time left.
He's a $9 million player.
Oh,
yeah.
Seguin, dude, like just
he's
good.
Seguin's finally come back. He's so injury prone. That's the problem with Seguin. But he's amazing. It's just he got traded at a young age, which is weird. Peter Chiarelli.
Pavelski's fallen off.
Oh, Pavelski's
Bishop's
old.
always hurt. Godobin's inconsistent. It's Klingberg is wish-washy,
Yeah.
I mean, that team is so fluky. They got Essel and Dell and Heiskanen.
Heiskanen is the one guy I feel like that's their next franchise player or their next captain.
Yeah,
he's insane. But even you can't rely on one defense. They need offense too. And Ben and Seguin, they're not going to be there for that much longer. And Seguin's not a prospect anymore either. So
no, Seguin's 30, like
around there. Yeah. Is he 30? Man, time's flying. Time is flying for Seguin. He's 29, almost there. But yeah, Jamie Benn's he's 30 for sure.
He's over 30.
He's 31, and
yeah,
those two teams. It's going to be a battle for them, but I think Nashville's going to come up on top of that.
I think so too.
And who is Nashville playing tonight? Columbus.
I know Columbus. I mean, that should be a win.
That should be a win. Columbus' season has been a joke.
But I don't know, man. You look at Nashville's lineup, and it's like, is it a win? Are we sure? But I don't know. Saros will bail them out.
Exactly. It's like a team that has to really depend on their goaltending, and that's not a team to win a Stanley Cup. So that's just they're just gonna make the playoffs, maybe go to the first or second round, and then be out. But you never know. It's playoff hockey. Anyone can win. But good for them to come back in the season, though. They were doing terrible.
No, definitely good for them. Like that just shows how good their depth is, right? It's like their scoring is not coming from the top end, right? It's not. They have a very even distribution of points, man. They've got how many players here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 players who have at least 20 points in 40 something games, right? So like, it's just they have the depth. Guys like Yarncroc continue to surprise. Granlund's having a decent season. Arvidsson's having a down season, but like Yossi and Forsberg, man. Yossi and Forsberg and Saros. That's that's where it's gonna come from.
Their top prospects are, Askarov is their top prospect, which is their goaltender, which I feel like they maybe need a forward to be a top prospect, but then it drops down to Philip Tomasino. Like, he's good, but is that good for one of your top forward prospects?
They need a good pick, man.
They need a good pick. I mean, and then David Ferentz, I've heard he's pretty decent.
Yeah, he's played a couple games.
He's playing for Boston University.
Yeah.
And Eli Toivonen. They need more prospects when they need guys for when.
Well, they've been good for so long, right? So they just haven't had great picks.
No. And
yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I guess we can call it there, eh?
We'll call it there. And there's one more thing I want to mention. There was news today that the New York Rangers fired their GM and president earlier today. No relation to the Tom Wilson statement that they released, but
bad timing.
Elliot Friedman just stated that New York is disappointed with their play this year. They thought they were going to be an amazing team, which Shesterkin, I thought he could have had a better season. He was predicted to be the Calder winner, and that didn't end up happening. He had good individual stats, but the team in front of him just didn't do it. They're a progressing team, which I don't really know how much they expected from them. But now Chris Drury is the president and the GM of the team. So
I love Chris Drury.
I love Chris Drury too. He's a good guy.
We'll see what he does with it. I mean, he's got a very good team.
Oh yeah.
A team with a lot of potential assembled
A lot of young players. And that's a great
next
start.
Next year, dude, the Rangers could be nasty next year.
They're gonna be lethal. They're coming after Tom Wilson's head.
Oh, rest in peace. All right,
it's time to end it.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Fourth Liners podcast. I think this is episode 7. We appreciate all your support. Yeah, we appreciate all the support. Make sure you guys leave comments, drop a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to hear more. We'll definitely keep mentioning all the commenters in our episodes at the beginning. So if you want to get a little shout out, definitely comment, and we will do that. My name is Bryce, and his name is
Jacob or Jake.
I forget.
I go by so many different names, Bryce. But you can tell the police when I break into your PC. You can say a different name. So they just.
Oh, he left a wrench. He left a wrench. He didn't need it. I guess he didn't need it.
You just see the wrench and screwdriver when I can't get into the PC, just laying beside it.
Yeah, honestly. Oh, he figured it out. That's good. He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Catch you in the next one.
See you guys.